Okay, I believe we are recording and we have about 1 minute and we're waiting on one other board member for quorum.
I'm gonna just give it another minute or so to see if we can have quorum for this meeting.
Christina, I'm fascinated by your background. I don't know what is going on.
Oh, thank you. This is my hobby. I collect tropical plants. So sorry.
Awesome. Yeah, at first I thought it was like fake background, and then I was like, wait, there's steam coming off your head. And I was like, it took me a while to understand it wasn't fake. Cool.
We use Google Meet at work, and there are like video fake backgrounds. Like it'll be like you're in a fake office with like it's raining or snowing, or
Oh wow.
people bike behind you in a coffee shop. It's very weird. Like I prefer to do like outer space or something where it's very clear that I am just, I have laundry behind me or something, not like I'm actually in outer space. Also, I'm starting to get my voice back, but I recently had lost it, so I might type stuff if it gets to that point.
Well, if we get to a point of having a meeting, we'll accept your typing.
Thank you.
Do we know if Sarah or Rod are going to join? I just looked at the tracker for the attendees, and it looks like they're the only two who haven't responded.
Yep, I reached out to both and both will be said that they would be attending. So
Oh, good. Okay.
I was gonna say, did we set Robbie up as Sarah's backup is not the word I'm looking for.
No,
Alternate.
the alternate, we're actually there's an action item for that today.
Okay. Gotta have quorum to have quorum.
And Michelle is on her way home from her last meeting and will join shortly.
Okay, I believe we have a quorum.
Yes. Welcome, everyone. Sarah, it's good to see you.
Nice to see you, Sarah. Yeah.
All right, it's 4:34 and I'm going to call the meeting to order. If we could have staff do roll call, please.
Chair Arndt,
Here.
Vice Chair Dombowski, Board Member Mankey,
Here.
Board Member Zorns, Board Member Shrebnick, Board Member Perry,
Here.
Board Member Mead, alternate Board Member Dodd,
Here.
alternate Board Member Loutsis, alternate Board Member Evans.
All right, we have quorum. I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, we could do a voice vote on this one. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the agenda is approved as written. Do we have any public comments this afternoon?
We had no previous written comment. And then if anyone that is on the meeting now wants to give public comment, you could use your raise hand feature.
I'm sorry. I'm just so you, everyone. I know I came in person a few months ago. Jack Peters from North Shore Senior Center Board. Just want to make sure people know who I am, in case you're wondering who's on the call. But that's why I'm here.
Thank you so much, Jack. Did you want to make an official public comment?
No, thank you.
All right, seeing no other hands, I think we can move on to our consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve? Councilmember Dodd.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
And second, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, consent agenda is approved. We're moving on to board conversations. Christine?
Yeah, so we put this, just set aside some space and time for board members to bring up anything that they would like to bring up, something that you might be thinking about for a future agenda item, discussion. So we just wanted to allow this time. So
Does anyone have anything that they, Councilmember Perry, or Board Member Perry, I should say.
Thank you. Chair Arndt, I'm catching up. And I know that is Barbara here?
She
No.
is not. She has left us for a new role.
Okay, that is one of the questions I had. Where, and what is the process for hiring that position and the circumstances there? Is there any? Can anyone just give me a quick?
Yep, I can give you
Update
a
on
quick
that?
update. Yep. So
you.
we have Layla here who is temping with us because I do need help. But I'm working with City of Bothell HR to reclass Barbara's position. I believe we don't need a full-time records officer, but we do need someone that has some admin skills. And so we're just working through that reclass process, and we should have that posted by the end of July.
Thank you.
Board Member Dodd?
I was just gonna add, as we're redoing the ILA with the City of Bothell, that's gonna be part of that too. So you'll see that pop up.
That's helpful. Thank you.
Any other items for discussion here?
Oh, I had one actually.
Yeah, go ahead.
Completely unrelated. So I was about to say you are looking, but there we go. You are looking at the newest lifetime member of the Senior Center. So one, I don't think those memberships will stay around forever because you could be perhaps 37 and maybe get a smoking deal if you join now. But also, I think if you are an NPRSA member, maybe consider a senior center membership and taking advantage of all the programming that we have to offer. None of it is age exclusive. I think Nathan has told me the youngest member is 12. So you'll be in good company and yeah, consider joining. Just wanted to put that out there for everybody. Thanks.
Congratulations on being a lifetime member. I love that. That's awesome.
Finally living up to my nickname of Old Manda from 15, by the way.
Thank you. I think that's really a great reminder. We should look into that as a board. Seeing nothing else, let's move on to our discussion items this evening. Keep it rolling.
All right, so I will take over from here. So the pro-con committee update, I just wanted to remind everyone that we do have an advertisement out currently for pro-con committee. Here's all the information. This advertisement will be open until Monday, July 1st. People can reach out to me, Christine.Scotton@bothellwa.gov to apply to become part of our pro-con committee in either Snohomish or King counties. That's all
Christine,
Mhm.
have we received some interest in this?
I haven't
far?
received anything so far.
Okay. And what is the process if we don't receive sufficient interest in the pro-con committee?
Leslie, do you want to hop in here?
Yeah, so we have to make a good faith effort to find pro and con committee members. And, I feel like we're covering our bases here. We're really getting the word out. If for some reason no one steps forward to be the con committee, both King and Snohomish counties will also publicize it on our behalf. Once after the deadline, the August 5th deadline, they can also go out and say, hey, does anyone want to fill in these positions? And if they can't find anyone, then in the voter pamphlet statement, there's just no one listed for a con committee.
I do want to add that I will be reaching out to staff at all of our member agencies and sending out some content for like social media blast out next week for this specifically. So it'll be kind of our last big effort to get the word out.
Thank you. I did plug it in our council meeting last night as well. So then let's continue our good faith efforts on this one.
Chair Arndt, can I ask who this unknown user is? It's unverified. Do you know?
Sorry. I
just had it up in participants.
I see that. I do not know who it is.
Is it me, Sarah, or I guess I was having issues logging in. It's Rocio.
Oh, okay.
Is it?
Thank you, Rocio.
Okay, I don't know how I'm showing, so it might be me.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
You're not showing
okay,
any other way, so that must be you. Thank you. I just wanted to confirm.
Yes.
Thank you.
Sorry, I had some trouble logging in, so I had to do a guest. So I apologize.
I don't know. Thank you.
Thank you very much for catching that. My boxes are very small on this screen.
All right. The next item we have is the ILA Redline draft. So here, I just wanted to, this was provided in your agenda packets. I have the whole red line in the slides. So if we want to just go through slide by slide and talk about each item that's been changed, we can do that.
I think that's the best way to proceed.
So here on the first page, the first change was interlocal agreement versus just agreement. And then we
Are you
have,
sharing something, Christine? Am I
Yep.
looking at this?
Yep, can you see the slides, the slide deck?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Okay, so yeah, that was the only word change there. And then we have at the bottom paragraph, changing the date, the month and the year there. And then we have also passing a property tax levy of, and then the 5 cents that we have tentatively landed on. Of assessed value to cover costs for, instead of capital improvements, we have maintenance, repair, and operation of senior center facilities owned or managed by NPRSA, as allowed by state law. There was a question before, I know, Chair Arndt, about the word operation. Per RCW, that it says that per RCW that we are allowed to operate it. That's not something that we are doing per our tenant agreement, but that is something that we could choose to do at some point in the future, but it's not something that we have wanted to do.
So this,
We leave that, yes,
so this change there and the inclusion of the word operations is simply to make it consistent with the RCW.
correct.
Thank you. I know that was a question brought up by board member Shrebnick.
Anyone have any other questions on this first page? Right. And so we have the inclusion of solely responsible for property management and maintenance here on the first paragraph of real property and facilities, including not limited to buildings leased. So we have no change there. And then the second whereas, we have administrative services to manage ownership of the facilities, capital projects and repairs, and implement voter approved levy. And then this third whereas, we just moved the, added the word chapter and then moved RCW behind the applicable RCW. And then under purpose, the change, just lowercase agreement. And then we have just some words here, the city, and then current facilities effectuating operation to match the RCW, capital improvements, maintenance, and repairs to said facility in general outlined. And the annual NPRSA board approved capital repairs and landlord tenant agreement. Any questions here?
Is the line, whereas NPRSA needs professional administrative services to manage ownership of the facilities, capital projects, and I'm assuming that's repairs with an S, but the S is crossed out?
Oh, sorry. Yes, that S should be there. I'll make sure it gets there.
Okay.
Sorry. I'm writing notes. Okay. Thank you for that catch. Anything else? Does anyone see that we need to? And this won't be the last. So we'll definitely have this as another draft discussion at the next meeting. So this won't be the only time that you all will be able to give your feedback.
Thank you.
And at the purpose, NPRSA will pay city actual value of services in order for city to fully recover its costs. There's language Redmond uses, which is a zero net. It's some language basically that says there's no, they have a net zero cost for services or something like that. That's a, that basically recognizes that the organization or whatever is coming in,
Goes out. Yeah.
yeah. And so
Like
there's there's an elegant line in there. Instead of to fully
Okay.
recover its costs, it's a net zero. It's just a financial, prudence in financing kind of thing. It's a
Okay.
net
I can,
zero.
yeah, I can look into that.
Okay. They have a policy. It's helpful. It's annoying when you're trying to get tent city in there, but they have a policy.
All right, let's move on. So this whole bulleted section was added. There was not in the original ILA, there wasn't a really good description of what NPRSA staff would be doing. So oh, sorry, I keep clicking, sorry. Um, so this has been added. So NPRSA staff will retain all other rights and responsibilities included, but not limited to levying and collecting taxes from the NPRSA taxing district, proposing legislation to its new agency, approving budgets and adopting policies for budget expenditures, holding meetings following the requirement of OPMA, entering into and authorizing execution of contracts for goods and services, adopting public procurement policy that do not conflict with those of the administrating agency, retaining sole ownership of the properties and buildings already under its ownership, and overseeing the activities of the administering agency provides to the NPRSA and any other obligations pursuant to any contract or local, state, and federal law. And then the NPRSA will pay the city for providing professional and administrative services according to sections 4B and C below.
And the city being, when we did the reference to the agreement in the first part, did we also do the reference to the city? So when we say the city, we know the city means,
The city of Bothell, yeah. Mhm.
and we used that language in the beginning, like we
It's,
did for.
I believe it's here. Oops, sorry, I keep clicking. Sorry, like
In
I'm
the-
in a document.
I think it was on that first page where it says
There it
the
is.
agreement, and
Yes.
then between the
Yeah.
city hereafter,
Mhm.
city hereafter the city.
Yep. And I'll make sure that changes the city.
In that last page that you had, that we were just on, Christine, there's a question, holding meetings following the requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act. Well, that's a state law. So are you saying notification of meetings in compliance with the requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act?
Correct.
Could we say, instead of holding meetings, could we say notification of meetings in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act? Chair, does that make sense? I'm trying to understand when it says holding meetings following the requirements, what's the intention here so that it's more clear?
I think the intent is both the notification and the recording and
Yeah.
everything that goes into it. So I
Maybe
think
holding isn't the right word.
So you could say notification and recording of meetings, and other requirements as defined by the Open Public Meetings Act, or something that basically says, we got it. We understand. We're going to do it. We're going to do that thing.
Okay, we can finesse that a little bit.
Great. Did you all already talk about the levy and the amount and all that stuff too, or is that a separate?
that's next.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
All right, so let's go to the next page. So this was all new, newly inputted into the ILA. The original ILA was a little bit vague on staff duties, authority. So we wanted to make sure it was a little bit more clear in this new ILA. So separate and apart from its role as a member agency, the city shall have the authority and duty to appoint and hire staff to provide professional and administrative services to the NPRSA, recover the costs for providing the professional and administrative services in full as agreed in the agreement and future annual NPRSA budgets, maintain general office and finance program that meets all applicable Washington state public records and open government requirements, participate in all audits of NPRSA, which includes preparing and submitting required financial reports to the state auditor, solicit and execute local, county, state, and federal grants at board direction, recommend financial and procurement policies to NPRSA that align with those of the city or in accordance with regional best practices, obtain necessary insurance coverage for the NPRSA, execute updates to all foundational documents when requested by board, including original bylaws, founding ILA, and landlord-tenant contract, schedule and conduct new board member training and orientation, schedule and prepare agenda packets, post meeting notices, and notify board members pursuant to the board's duly adopted bylaws, act as clerk for NPRSA public meetings, record and archive meeting minutes and actions of NPRSA, maintain public-facing website and all board documents, meeting minutes and meeting recordings, respond to public inquiries and respond to public records requests, update and ensure compliance with tenant landlord contract, execute contracts on behalf of the NPRSA, and present financial and programmatic analysis and recommended action to NPRSA. I'm assuming this should say board here at the end, NPRSA board.
Is this to be done annually in most cases, or should we specify? So for example, recover the costs of providing the professional administrative services in full as agreed to in this agreement.
So
as defined in this agreement and future annual NPRSA budgets. Recover annual costs. Is there like an element in here that
is, sorry, I'm gonna go, and in one of these later paragraphs, it does say that the board at each year will do the annual budget, and then that's when those costs for the services will get renegotiated, or that you all will approve that cost basically.
So for the language, and it says Christina, can you go back to it says, separate and apart from its role as a member agency, the city shall have the authority and responsibility to appoint or hire, recover the annual costs or recover the costs of providing services in full annually, comma, as agreed, as defined in this agreement and future annual NPRSA budget. So somewhere in there,
Second goal.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Applicable, participate in all required audits event, which is that an annual audit that we have?
Yes.
Participate in all annual audits.
Yep, we have an annual audit that we do. Well, it's not an audit, it's just a report. I think that should be report and then audits.
What do you mean?
So we don't do an annual audit per se, but we do have a process in which City of Bothell reviews our annual financial reports.
Okay.
But we don't call it an audit. I mean, we could call it an audit, but
it's not an audit, so you shouldn't.
Correct.
So participate in all required audits of NPRSA, including preparing and submitting required annual financial reports to the state auditor, because that's what you're saying, right? That they have to, okay. So participate in all required audits of NPRSA, including preparing and submitting annual required financial submitting required annual financial audit reports.
Okay.
These policies could be annually, they could be whenever, right? Recommend financial and procurement policies that align with, that could be anytime.
Yep.
Right. Obtain necessary insurance coverage for NPRSA. Obtain, is that maintain? Because you're going to obtain, so it's maintain
Yes.
necessary insurance coverage for NPRSA. Do we need any other qualifiers, Chair, on that one for maintain necessary insurance coverage? Is that enough? Obtain necessary. We will have already obtained it. So maintain all necessary insurance coverage for
Yeah.
NPRSA.
I would add all to that one.
Okay. Okay. Execute updates to all foundational documents when requested by the board, including original bylaws, founding ILA, and landlord-tenant contract. Founding ILA, what? Interlocal agreements, founding ILA documents? You're saying including original bylaws, founding ILA document, and landlord-tenant contract. ILA is an agreement. Okay, so that's fine. Schedule and conduct new board member training. Is that annual? Are you supposed to schedule and conduct new board member training and orientation annually?
We do that annually, yes.
Let's get an annual in there somewhere. Is that all right, Chair?
Silly
Yeah.
question, but I think we actually appoint every 2 years after local elections.
Okay,
So wouldn't it be every 2 years?
biannually?
So this is one where I think that we do appoint every 2 years, but I am not entirely sure that we're all on the same 2-year cycle. So I think that this is something that happens on a regular annual basis, but maybe just an as needed here.
I think
you-
as you know, as there's board turnover, but yeah, county council
Yeah.
and city council are both odd years. And so even though, it's either 3 or 4 positions, like for our city council every 2 years, we do all of our boards and commissions over every 2 years.
Yes,
However-
but we have had additional turnover on the board in off years, so it has
Oh,
been
gotcha.
more frequent in the last few years.
Is the point that you want to have new board member training and orientation within 6 months of installation?
Usually, whenever we have a new board member appointed, if it's outside of the regular, annual or, we try to get them in right away. So within a month or at least before the next meeting, just so they're all caught up. And so, yeah, I would say definitely within 6 months, but we usually do it right away.
What do you think about ensure all new board member training and orientation within first quarter of appointment? Like something, you don't have to do it annually, but you're meeting it within that first quarter, like there's an intentionality about it? Does that work, Chair? Are you tracking what I'm? Okay.
Yeah, and I think that is flexible for whenever we do have turnover and captures the intention that we want it to be speedy.
Okay. Agenda packets.
Okay, do we have anything else on this slide?
I do not.
Is there any challenge with the respond to public inquiries, respond to public records requests? Christine, is there any kind of do you need it within like timely or is there anything like that going on that we're held to that needs to be said in there? Public inquiries, public
yeah.
records?
I don't think so because we do have to just follow that Public Records Act. So I think that covers it pretty much.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, great. Go ahead. Robbie's telling me to stop getting nitpicky. Let you do your thing.
No worries. Okay, so on this next slide, and not every slide, these are the two biggest changes because we kind of overhauled this. We wanted to prepare and submit quarterly and annual financial budgets and reports to the NPRSA. I don't think that quarterly budget, I think that's a lot. I think you guys, it should be financial report, not budget, because you guys approve the budget annually. So I will change that.
Submit
Budget.
quarterly reports and annual financial budgets.
Yes,
Okay, prepare and submit quarterly reports. Financial reports, quarterly and financial reports and annual financial budgets.
correct.
Okay.
I will change that. Maintain accounting, bookkeeping, submitting invoices and receive reimbursements via NPRSA's fiscal agent, King County, for all costs of professional administrative services and capital improvements, repairs and renovations. And then this is a lot of what we took out because we wanted it to be a lot more precise. And you saw a lot of this in the previous slide pertaining to the public records requests and the financial and procurement portions of it. And so in the audits. So what we added here at the bottom were oversee preventative and reactive maintenance programs in accordance with the landlord tenant contract. So just so you know, me and Nathan are still working through the amendment of that contract. And board member Perry, I know you have been out, so we're moving forward with an amendment on some the NPRSA taking over some form of maintenance. So we are doing that, and me and Nathan plan to bring a proposal to the board at the September meeting. And so the next is coordinate with building tenant to develop repair and renovation plans and schedules, solicit and evaluate bids per public procurement process, and when board approved, develop and manage cost share program to improve or maintain other member-owned facilities in addition to the two currently owned by the NPRSA. Just to preface, this policy has not been written yet, and you will see that later on this year. So any questions here? Or any modifications that you all need to make? Oh, okay. So here we didn't make a whole lot of changes. So the NPRSA retains financial decision-making authority regarding its own budget. City will prepare the annual budget and present recommended action to the NPRSA to fulfill the purpose of this agreement and implement the capital improvements, maintenance, and or repairs funded through the levy.
NPRSA board or the board, NPRSA retains, what does that mean, NPRSA versus what?
So this is what was originally in there. So we didn't make any change. So the NPRSA retains final decision-making authority regarding its budget, and the city will prepare the annual budget and present recommended action to the NPRSA. So that hasn't been happening. So we probably need to change this language.
I don't understand. So doesn't the board approve the budget annually?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And so who is it? NPRSA board or the NPRSA? What are we saying here? Who has the final decision-making authority?
Is this clarifying that the authority rests with the NPRSA versus the city, or is it clarifying that it's with the NPRSA board specifically?
Honestly, I think that this is in this particular bullet point because it says the city will prepare the annual budget. That's not actually what happens. The program manager prepares the budget, but you have to remember that there wasn't a program manager when this ILA was created the first time. So there was a city staff that was giving 50%. I believe the assistant city manager at the time was giving 50% of their time to the NPRSA. So I think
what's the plan going forward then?
I think that we keep it what we've been doing is internally, NPRSA staff will create the budget, present it to the NPRSA board, and the board will approve that budget. And the city has at no point had any input since I've been here over over our budget specifically. So I think this just needs to change to fit how we've changed over the years.
So then, do we even need this statement? Because if NPRSA staff is preparing it, and NPRSA board is has the final authority over the budget. Right now, the point of this statement is to make a distinction between the city and NPRSA.
So we just need to remove this.
So maybe just remove the second sentence. Or NPRSA retains final decision-making authority regarding its budget.
To fulfill the purpose of the agreement and implement.
Yeah.
Yep, got it.
Okay.
And so he changes in the next paragraph for the executive director. And I guess there was at some point a levy coordinator. So we took the levy coordinator out. And so the executive director will coordinate the levy, administer this agreement, and provide all of the so nothing else has changed. We literally just took out the levy coordinator position.
So the city is providing the executive director?
Yes, and Sarah, this is just to recap some of our discussion from our last meeting. We got a little bit of a breakdown on how they would like the positions to shift under this new ILA. And instead of having that clerk role and the program manager, we would move and some of Becky's time also dedicated to the NPRSA, they would move towards an executive director role and then an administrative role and have the two positions. So that's what this summarizes here with the executive director here.
Great.
Okay, any other comments for this section? So this, we just changed the year here. We put in, the amount of 320,000 for the professional services and administrative services to start at January 1st, 2026. And then we added estimate and methodology is provided in and more detailed exhibit. So that breakdown that Chair Arndt was talking about will actually be an exhibit to this agreement. And I believe that was provided in the packet. If it wasn't, then let me know and I can get you guys that exhibit. And then cost allocations, some tasks may change. So we took out will lessen over the next few years. Each year of this agreement, the city will reassess the level and type of professional and administrative services needed to fully support the operations and administration of NPRSA and achieve the economies of scale intended by this agreement, and will incorporate the cost of these services into the annual budget for NPRSA board consideration. Additionally, the NPRSA board may opt to adjust the level and type of services desired and address these each year during their annual budget development. And then we just have some date changes here. Does that make sense to everyone? Any changes that we want to make?
26 through 32?
Yeah, it's a 6-year levy, right? Is it 6 or 5? 6 year? 6 year.
Is that through 31?
31.
26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31 through December 31st of 31. Is that a 6-year?
31, yep. Okay. And then there were just some changes here that were from section. We took out the word paragraph and added the word section instead. But this, none of the words, none of the other words were changed here. And I believe nothing was changed on this slide or this slide. And then we just have the signature page. So that's where we're at there. So any other questions or any input that we need here? And like I said, this won't be the only time we see this. We'll bring this again with some of the revisions that were suggested today. We'll bring it at the July meeting and have further discussion about it then.
Thank you. I think that it is looking much improved, and it is in line with the conversations that the subcommittee has had about staffing and our input or the feedback we received from the city of Bothell itself on how they wanted this to work better for them as well. So thank you for doing this.
Worries. Okay, so let's move on to the resolution and ballot measure draft. I just do want to remind everyone that this is the last time that you will have this before you as a draft, and that the next in July, our July meeting, we will have a action item for this. So these are just a recap on kind of what we talked about. So in April, staff outlined projected costs of the levy renewal and proposed options at 4, 5, and 6 cent rates. In May, at our May meeting, the board tentatively approved to move forward with a 5 cent per 1,000 assessed valuation. And so that looks like this. So 5 cents would, for the median district, be about $50 and 11 cents per year, which would be about $4.17 per month. So that is over what this 4 cent valuation is. So it is not a huge increase, but you will see in our next slide that it does give us we will get that capital repairs plan that I presented to you a few years ago for the next levy. We get a lot more accomplished at 5 cents than at 4 cents. Anyone want to talk about anything before we get into the resolution?
What month would this be on the ballot?
We are on the November ballot.
Just for the NPRSA district?
Yes.
Is there the Evergreen Hospital on that as well? Is there a school board levy on that as well? Do we have King County levies on that as well? And are there other city levies on that at the same time? In other words, are we thinking through everything that's coming and whether this is the best time?
Yeah,
we did have a, oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, we did have a really good presentation from our consultant about that, but there is going to be, for the people who are in NPRSA and Evergreen, there will be the Evergreen thing. City of Bothell will have a Safe Streets and Sidewalks levy expected. Now, I'm not a King County voter because I feel like I'm sneaking in here, but I think the King County Parks levy is in November.
It's in August.
Robbie,
August.
Robbie,
Okay.
Robbie, what do we have in November? We got 5 this year, a ridiculous number.
Yes.
Do you know?
We do.
It's almost like we've all been limited for years on how we can councilmatically raise things.
Yeah. Robbie, do you have any sense of, just to go ahead and put you on the spot because you love that so much? Do we have anything in November that would be also a consideration?
Potentially EMS. I'd have to confirm.
EMS would be, I think that's a slight decrease. Is that right? From, it's been an existing one and this is a renewal. So it would be sort of situation normal and maybe a slight decrease, or was the fingerprinting the slight decrease?
I don't know the answer to that.
Don't you love me? Okay, there we go.
I can
So-
tell you from my day job, the Evergreen Initiative will be in August.
Evergreens in August, that's helpful.
Yes.
Unless it does not pass, and then it will also be in November.
Okay, and Jared, do you do you know anything about North Shore School District? Anything going on there?
It's February.
It is February. That's good. Okay, so
Yes.
just that would be helpful just to know what we're talking about. I know we're trying to wrap our heads around all of the different taxing opportunities that we have going on this year as well. So that's good.
And at our last meeting, as board member Dodd mentioned, we did have a very nice presentation that highlighted that November is probably about as good of an opportunity as we're going to get at this, with both voter demographic details and kind of the lay of the levy land, so to speak.
Great. And when did that consultant come in and give the info?
That was
Our last May.
April? Or
Was it
May,
April?
sorry.
I think it was May. I'm pretty sure it was May. Our May meeting.
It's May. I just lost track of what month I live in now. So
May is in a month ago.
yeah.
Correct.
Okay, good. All right, well, that's good to know. And then we can just keep our eye on it as things develop as well. Because sometimes we have some surprises, but that's good to know.
All right, so we have the resolution here. So this is the second time you all are seeing this. So we did go ahead and include the 5 cents in here. And then on the other call out that we had was this, the word senior included in front of the recreational facilities. So we did go ahead and make those changes per the feedback that we got at our last meeting.
So it's senior?
Yes. It's very
Senior
clear.
Yep.
Thank you for that one.
All right, any other feedback on this? So if you do have anything that comes to mind, definitely send it to me directly, and we will talk through it and make sure that this looks good, and then we'll have it in front of you for an action item at our July meeting. Oh, sorry, there was another page. And our next steps, so we have completed our advertisement for the Pro-Con committee. So at July's meeting, there will be an action on the resolution ballot measure. You will approve the Pro-Con committee in July as well. And then we will be looking at a version of the tenant contract amendment in September.
Thank you. And I just wanted to highlight that we did not receive any additional comments on the draft resolution document from any of our board members who are not present. Some sent written comment and nothing on that. So thank you.
All right, so we'll move forward with our action items. So we have the approval of the NPRSA bylaw amendment. So the item under consideration is to consider an amendment to the NPRSA bylaw that would allow member agency staff to serve as an alternate. Staff engaged with legal counsel to explore options for making this possible. We presented an option to the board at our May meeting, but there was some conversation around, was the verbiage presented too vague? Did we want to tighten it up to make sure that this change would only pertain to county members and not city members? So we worked with our legal counsel to prepare 2 different options for you. So the first option leaves it a little bit open. So alternates must currently hold elected office or be employed by the designating member agency. And then option 2 tightens that language up a little bit. Alternates for city member agencies must currently hold elected office, and alternates for county member agencies must currently hold elected office or be an employee of the member agency.
Of the member agency or of the, like, I'm not going to send Aaron Ozens from our central staff to come. I have my staff for my
Yeah.
particular, I've been
Mhm.
appointed here, I've been elected, and I have my staff. So I would want to be clear that, you know, if Robbie's like, look, I'm not going and I'm going to appoint this person over here, I'm going to say, no, you. So how do we want to make sure that that it's somebody within our district, that it's my staff.
Yep. So I think what would happen is every year we send out the signature authority, and you would designate whoever your alternate would be on that signature authority list.
Right. But
Mhm.
right now, I'm not sure I want to make sure that it's my staff or Rod's staff, that it's not somebody who's not our staff. And the way it's written right now, they just have to be an employee of King County. So it could be, you know, Metro person or something.
Can I propose an amendment?
Mhm.
Thank you for jumping in.
Option 2, I think just simply adding at the end of member agency, say member agency district or district being represented, something like that.
District represented by member agency. That's good. Employee of district represented by member agency. That's great.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
you can remember
Thank
that
you.
on the next slide.
I think also one other comment, I prefer option 2 over option 1. As a member agency from a city, we have 7 options for attendees from council elected representatives, and I think that's enough to find somebody that can attend versus sending a city staff member. I don't mind city staff jumping in where needed, but I think given that we have 7 that represent our city, we can find at least one that can attend or jump in.
And that's helpful. And Robbie, each of the districts have a policy analyst on staff. Robbie operates as policy analyst, and that is land use and contracts and all that kind of stuff. So that's a really critical role to have at the table.
Board Member Dodd?
I did want to add, Ben, or Board Member Mankey, when you were talking about we have 7, this says that the alternate has to be appointed by resolution or motion. So we wouldn't have 7 we can pick from. In our case, we have 3 because we've never revisited the motion and had like more alternates assigned. It would be great if there was flexibility in this to be able to say, hey, like, because I was almost too sick to go today. So like, and I think if we were in person, I wouldn't have gone. So it would be good to be able to reach out to one of my colleagues who we didn't designate, but who is available. So by resolution or motion, do we have to do that legally, or can we give some flexibility to like find another Bothell council member if we're in a pinch?
That's a good point. It would be good if we could change the language here to state an alternate can be any elected member of the city member agency.
Because I definitely have before started to text people when I was like the only one there, and I was like, can anyone else show up? But then it's like they wouldn't have actually been able to do anything.
I think that is an interesting point, and I think it's fair. We certainly have struggled to hit quorum in many times in the past, but the downside of that is that I think it creates the opportunity when you are just passing the baton around, and then you lose some of the continuity in the conversation and the knowledge of who of someone who is appointed and supposed to be following the actions of the board. So I'm a little hesitant. I appreciate that that does make it much easier to get people to attend, and we all get stuck in a pinch at times. But also, I think with the signing authority that we have on some of these contracts, it's not the same as, the East Side Transportation Partnership, where we just have a discussion about things. This is a little bit more formalized, and so I would hesitate, from my perspective, to open that up too much.
No, that's fair. And I it doesn't seem like there's anything like stopping us from having, like, since we have 2 seats, having like 2 alternates.
Agreed.
I know we've grappled in Bothell with the fact that like 6 of us have full-time jobs and 5 of us have kids like in K through 12, and that's newer for our city council. And so there's a lot of balancing there. It's a bit of a circus to take that to the next metaphor level. So, and like Kenmore doesn't have anyone here today. So maybe really it's just a culture change of let's get another alternate like Keaton, and then maybe we'll be good.
I think that's a good idea. I think since we have 2 members, we should have 2 alternates just for continuity purposes.
Yeah. We just gave ourselves homework.
And I would point out also that it does say that member agencies may designate alternates, plural, as board members. So I think that goes to the point that you could designate multiple alternates officially through resolution or motion.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like we just talked that one out and now I'm good. So thank you.
I'm good as well.
So just to summarize, the feedback that I am hearing is that option 2 is the preferred option for those who are here today. And it was at our previous discussion as well. And just can someone remind us about the small change that we made to option 2's language before we move to the motion?
I think it's district represented.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So it clarifies that the staff has to be from the district represented by the member agency. Okay.
I think we have to officially vote to approve that amendment before we can approve the whole thing.
I think we can make a motion to approve the amended option number 2 in this case. But we'll see if there's any further discussion on this item.
I don't think it counts as amended until we pass an amendment though.
Yes.
It's a theoretical amendment. We have to open
Yes.
the box and see if it's in there.
Can I make a motion for the amendment?
Please.
I move to amend option 2 as stated. Christine, do you want to as stated it?
As stated to serve as an alternate. I don't know. Hold on 1 second. My words. District to serve as a member alternate.
Can we go back to that page?
Yep, we're going over here.
Okay, so alternates for county member must currently hold elected office or be an employee of the member of the designated district of the member agency.
I will second that.
All right. Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on this? All right, seeing none, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Seeing none, then motion passes. And I would entertain a motion on approving either option 1 or 2 as amended.
Benjamin has a question.
Oh,
Yes.
I was gonna I'll jump in. I move to approve option 2 as amended.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of approving option 2 as amended, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, motion passes. Yay.
Yay.
Okay, so we have the approval of levy renewal branding image. This is the fun one. So we'll go through, I believe there are 5 different options. We worked really hard to combine senior center colors with NPRSA colors, and then also I really like the idea of using the senior center bridge people. And then the little leaf that you see is from our logo, actually. So we kind of blended them in. So here are options 1 and 2. So this one has levy renewal for senior centers.
And
And-
Christine, if I can just give like high level.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, so the idea behind this is just to kind of have some consistent branding on our materials when we're letting the larger community know about the levy renewal, that we're informing them about it. So this would be on, you know, we have one mailer for the PDC. It would be for any social media posts, one page or so, any sort of handouts. We would want to have sort of a visual identifier of like what which levy is up. As you all mentioned earlier, there are a lot of things on the ballot. So this is just, you know, kind of an informational brand for the levy renewal.
Why does it say senior centers? Why is there an S there?
It's my understanding that the levy funds of the two different buildings, correct?
And they're both separate senior centers?
There's a
Yes.
senior center building and a health and wellness. Yeah, so there's a health and wellness building and a senior center building.
2
And they're
senior
separate.
center buildings, counting
And they're
Kenmore
two
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And is there a reason it's not the same color as the N in the upper right?
We just kind of thought that this would kind of blend a little bit better with the blue. We could certainly tweak that green though.
Just
And
wondering
to
if we wanted the same color for
Yeah.
marketing.
Yeah, we could definitely look at that too. And
I
just to
don't think
confirm,
it's-
yeah, it's North Shore Senior Center and then the Health and Wellness and Adult Day Health Center are on the.
So those are not 2 senior centers, right? Sorry, Jeannie, chair, I'm speaking over, hands up.
Yes.
right.
Thank you, Board Member Zorns.
You don't need to apologize. I was happy to be inserted when the thoughts were.
That could be a while.
So no, finish your thoughts, and then I have an opinion about the options. So finish your thoughts.
Okay. Yeah, I just was wondering from a marketing standpoint, are they both senior centers? Sounds like one is a day center and a wellness, something from a marketing standpoint. But maybe we want to capture them both without getting complicated. And then the color, I don't like that olive green in the upper right, but it is the color.
Yeah.
And so do we want to use it in a way that allows us to stay with that green?
I'm not
And
a
there
fan of
are
the green
there are a
either.
few other
from
options too.
From the senior center green is not a appealing green when you look at it. I don't
No.
want to repel people by the color. So I'm with you, Sarah. I like the green that's currently there.
Board Member Zorns.
I'm not sure what greens we're having opinions on. I like the Seahawks color green that we
See
got
what she
going
did.
on.
See what she did there?
Oh, just because the green in the top right looks.
It's kind
Boring,
of
no
sounding-
shade.
it's- It kind of sounds like you all want me to bring a discussion,
but
forward about changing our logo color.
no. I just within the context against the option 1 and option 2. Well, I have to tell you, I didn't really even notice the branding up at the top right till someone mentioned it. But if you had to choose between option 1 and option 2, option 1, when I first looked at it, I thought there was something in the Y. I would look at that and think maybe the inking on the Y was kind of misprinted.
Yep.
But moving the leaf over on option 2 to the first person standing there, it just has a real nice balance with the word levy. I really visually, the option 2 just really hits it for me. That's all. It's petty, I know, but
Christine, can we see options 3 and 4 before we get too stuck?
Oh. Oh, that's interesting. That's also not the same yellow as the upper right color of the actual organization, which is a little weird, but but I like what Councilmember Zorn says about the mistaken printing of the Y versus it showing up as the leaf on the upper N, and the multicolor I like. It talks about diversity that way, which I think is healthy.
Board member Mankey, sorry.
We also have a 5th, which I think is my favorite. I would like to see that one too.
Oh, sorry.
Ah.
It's a little cleaner to me, a little less busy. And it also shows what the money will be used for.
I could go for that if you could change the color of the little people. Make them all white. That's not a good message.
Board member Zorns.
there are too many cooks in the kitchen here, so apologizing for this. Option 4, if we could go back to oh, thank you. I would have for senior centers, I would keep that green. Because it just the part that says for senior centers, I would make that green only for readability. That there's just so much going on. I like the different colored people, but 3 different lines of text in 3 different colors is too much going on for being able to read fast. I would be inclined to have the multicolored people, but keep the lettering within 2 colors, 2 different colors.
I'm also going to bring up a question that was sent in writing from board member Shrebnick. She was curious if there was an additional cost associated with the multicolored versus the 2-color.
No.